Hi, my name is Lan. I'm the DP of Dr. Supernova's Evil Plan. I graduated from USC School of Cinematic Arts in 2023, where I specialized cinematography. And I was fortunate to be among the first group of DPs at USC who can learn and experiment with virtual production and all kinds of high-end technology.
My name is Miranda Montenegro. I produced Dr. Supernova's Evil Plan. I graduated back in May 2024, and at USC, I specialized in directing and producing. I'm so fortunate to be not only producing Dr. Supernova's Evil Plan, but also two feature documentaries.
Hi, I'm Adam Euster. I am the writer-director of Dr. Supernova's Evil Plan. I am also a USC graduate MFA student in the film and TV production program. Dr. Supernova's Evil Plan is a movie, it's a superhero film, and it's sort of a parody of the superhero genre and an homage to the superhero genre. And it follows a supervillain father whose skill to destroy his arch nemesis is jeopardized by the unexpected arrival of his kid daughter. And it is one of the first virtual production thesis films at USC. It was shot on the LED wall, green screen, and motion capture stages at the Robert Zemeckis Center at USC.
One of the challenges that I think we faced was this was new for so many people, including all three of us. And so as a result of that, when you have students working in the post-production pipeline, they're learning for the first time how to use Unreal Engine and do all the VFX work. And so it was a learning process for many people while they were working on the film, and for us too. But something that was great is that, and it sort of speaks to the spirit of USC, which is that education and practice go hand in hand. And so for us, we were lucky to be working on something that had so many VFX shots, so many background plates and so forth, while learning how to do it at the same time.
I think the biggest advantage comes from our generous sponsors, including Cook, Sony, and Cartoony. With the help of their high-end technology gear, we can focus more on the creative side rather than physical limitations.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest advantages for me was the creative freedom allowed to me by the use of the LED wall stage and the green screen stage. This film is a heightened sort of fantasy sci-fi film that takes place inside an underground volcanic layer, and that's not something that is accessible by physical means. So this was something that really could have only been filmed virtually, and it was amazing to me to be able to realize that vision. To kind of walk you through our pre-production process, every shot was, pretty much started with storyboards, and then we took that and we did previs in Unreal Engine, and then we did tech viz. And so the previs was like a 10-minute short film, basically, with Miranda and I doing the voiceovers for the characters, and that was just to kind of dip my toes in the water and understand the technology and think about what shots we wanted to use. So what we did is we took that previs and then I showed it to Lon, and then the two of us sat down together and we did tech viz. We basically took the LED wall and we created a virtual copy of it that was to scale, and we placed it in our project, in our Unreal Engine project, and moved it about the virtual world. And that helped us determine which shots, what we were going to do for each shot, which lens size we would need, and what the camera movement was going to be, and whether it would fit on the wall.
I think challenges or limitations is always, advantages in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an excuse. I think, working during the previous give us chances to experiment and pre-shoot the whole movie without, wasting other people's time and money.
I also think that by the end of it, I got everything that I dreamed of having in the film. I got to put in the film. Some of it we weren't able to achieve through live action, but we were able to do it through the use of digital doubles in fully computer generated shots. So I'm very happy as a director.
Then coming in and seeing Adam and Lon working together on the previs and eventually the tech viz, it was just very rewarding, and it was very awesome to just see Adam, who had just learned previs, I think like a couple months prior to doing it for this project. He not only learned so much, but he was able to do so much, and seeing him at the caliber that he was working was super impressive. And it's something that I know a lot of our team members going into filming, they felt like very fortunate that Adam had blocked out a lot of the movement prior to going in with Lon, and it made our days so much more efficient and better with just this collaboration here that was really fantastic for everybody involved.
This all started with me taking a class on Unreal Engine. That was sort of like an introductory level course taught by John Brennan, who worked on The Lion King and The Jungle Book and was part of, helping develop Unreal Engine as a virtual production technology. He taught me, everything that I needed to know to go in and create, my own previs.
The camera we used was Sony FX9. The lens we used came from Cook, and it was SA primes and Verito zoom lenses. The camera support system came from Cartoony, all the tripods, and especially the Lambda head 25 with the third axis. Adam have this for sure vision. At certain point, he wants to break the level of the shot. So that makes me immediately think of Cartoony's Lambda head. And so I reach out with the idea and the previous we got. To my surprise, not only Cartoony replies me, but also the president and CEO of Cartoony, Elizabeth, replies us and give us the full support of this production.
And they were just so supportive throughout this process. And we mean it when we say we couldn't have done it without the support of Cartoony at all.
And also for the experience of using the Lambda 25, I think the accuracy and the smooth of it makes me wants to put my camera on it all the time, even if sometimes we don't have to. But I just love to operate it, and I think later on it just became the extension of my body, and it allows you to experiment in between shots. Maybe, tilt a little bit, maybe go a little bit that way. That head gives you that freedom.
Yeah, one of the things that I talked about with Lon early on was that I wanted the camera to be, steady. I didn't want it to feel like it was handheld at any time.
Right.
And I wanted it to have kind of like a steady, smooth movement that was, that echoed like, studio pictures. Thinking about superhero cinema, the movements of the camera is always very clear. It's always, you can tell what's going on in the shot. It's easy for the audience to track. So, using Cartoony's Lambda head allowed us to have these interesting, kind of unconventional camera movements, but not sacrifice clarity. So one of my favorite shots in the film takes place when Dr. Supernova is arguing with his daughter, Mary, and Mary accuses him of, spending all of his time working on his galactic domination plot and not spending any time with her. So for this shot, I wanted to have a Dutch angle because I wanted to, I wanted the tension to be clear, and I wanted the audience to really get into Dr. Supernova's mindset, to feel his villainy and to feel, he's a mad genius. So I felt like the camera movement would really help that. So in order to do that, I knew I wanted Dutch angles, and that was where the Lambda head came in.
The shot that I loved was a shot when Dr. Supernova placed his pressure crystal into his battle suit. And the shot we got is from inside the battle suit, seeing through the crystal and finally reveal the face of Dr. Supernova. And with the help of Lambda Head, I can precisely push the probe lens into the hole of that battle suit and have it pass the crystal and finally reveal the evil face of Doctor. So that was, I think that was a memorable experience for me to see it actually happen on the monitor.
Most of our days were spent on the wall. We had one dedicated day to green screen work. We had one dedicated day to mocap, but the rest of the 8 days were all LED wall.
This project originated as a script that I wrote as an exercise for a writing class. And after I wrote it, people said, "Well, this is a great script, but there's no way that you can make this as a student film." But I didn't let that get me down. I always believed in the story. And once the USC acquired its LED wall, I knew that this was the right technology to actually bring this story to life. And, even if it meant learning new skills, putting hours in learning Unreal Engine and doing all the storyboards, it was a lot of time, but it was all worth it because I got to realize my creative vision.
I'll just say that I feel really fortunate to have this trio that we've sort of, the three of us have been working on this project together for a really long time. I couldn't ask for two better partners in this. And even yesterday we were talking about a project that, Adam and I are developing, and we're like, Lon, we get this, you have to DP it. So, we feel very passionately about the experience that we've had working together. And, it truly was one of the best collaborations I've ever had.
My role at School of Cinematic Arts is co-head of virtual production, organizing the curriculum and the courses and making sure the students have what they need for each level of complexity. Adam and Miranda bravely went down that road to create this project, one of our first thesis virtual production projects. And so I was helping them any way I could in terms of advising them on ways to shoot various scenes, and especially now on post-production and visual effects, which was my background as well. We try and think of our stage as a lab so that we're constantly advancing technology and adding technology. We think it's a great place for companies that have advanced filming equipment to come and try things out and see what works, see what doesn't, specifically in terms of virtual production. And watching the students go through the program and create these films, everybody learns from it. The students learn from it, faculty learns from it, and the companies that have the equipment there learn how things are being used and what works, what doesn't work. It's absolutely vital, we think, for filmmakers to know the technology, to use it. They know what works, what doesn't work. We rehearse things. They understand, okay, we have 3.5 hours to do this whole short film, and, to be super organized about it. How does it work? How do you really benefit from having this technology? What does it look like? What are the gotchas, right? What should the DP worry about? What do they need to know about color? How do you manage the intensity between the wall and your physical lights? All of that knowledge, right? You could read about it in a book, but it's nothing like actually experiencing it. I think specifically on this project, it's been really great working with Adam and Miranda. They've been, really well organized, and they've been able to push the quality on the project. They're now in a position where they have a lot of strength in this area, and a lot of people looking for talent that has this kind of experience would be benefiting from their experience.